Our webinar tonight is Navigating Dental Insurance Complexity with eAssist. My name is Shirley, and I will be your moderator this evening. I am excited to welcome Amy Spaulding as our speaker tonight. Welcome, Amy. Amy has been an influential force in the dental industry for over 20 years. She has experience as a billing operations manager, a new market development and education manager, and senior manager of revenue operations projects. Now she serves as the director of operations at eAssist Dental Solutions, and Amy excels at breaking down complex problems in the dental world and finding solutions. So that is really helpful. Before we get started, I would like to mention that CE is not available for this webinar tonight, but we would love to invite you to go ahead and put your questions into the Q&A chat box at the bottom of your screens, and we will get to them. We are going to leave a little time at the end of the webinar to answer your questions. In the meantime, Amy, welcome, and thank you for being with us tonight. I pass it over to you now.
Thank you so much. Well, good evening, everyone. Let's just jump right in. How about that? How about if we get to just a little bit about eAssist? They've been around 10 years now. I joined them about 2 years ago. And as you can see here, they're really, really good at collecting insurance companies monies that are owed for those procedures that all of you out there, I'm sure some clinicians on this call, do. And so tonight, we're really talking about how do we optimize that for front office services for dentists. So if you're joining and you're part of that dental, a DSO, or you're part of just a standalone practice, we're here for you. Let's talk about now just some awards so that you know that it's not only the dollars, but some of these great companies have come through and have said, hey, this is eAssist and this is what they're doing. And as you can see, there's some accolades here for us. So you can feel at peace of mind, knowing that the company here giving the webinar tonight comes with some true backing behind them. And then I know a lot of us maybe have heard of eAssist and what we could do, maybe just dental billing company. But as you can see here, they do that insurance billing and aging. We do our verification and eligibility, which we'll get into a little more tonight. Patient portion. So if your patients have gone out the door and haven't paid, or maybe insurance has paid and now they have a balance, we're here to help send statements and make calls and help collect that money. We also do dental practice accounting and bookkeeping. And this is something that not a lot of, people provide. So if you're looking for really good accounting bookkeepers to help with that, especially with that EFT, ERA back and forth, making sure that the bank matches your software, we're here for you. And then there's our credentialing services. And our credentialing services happen in partnership with Unitas. And our Unitas partner there has end-to-end insurance and fee schedule updates to help negotiate those fees. And then something that has recently spun off onto its very own arm of eAssist is Full Schedule, which is patient retention and getting patients to come in for their treatment. So it's more than just what we'll talk about tonight. So that's our end-to-end services for you. We've already talked about me. Hi, I'm Amy. Then we've got what we're hoping to learn tonight at the end of the meeting. And so we've got some best practices for dental insurance verification. And many of us have been in the field a long time, so we tend to think that our teams are doing these. So this is something that you can know that we know and can help with, or just as a friendly reminder to you on how we help others. And maybe you could take back that nugget to your practices. We have some tips for proper utilization of billing codes. all the codes are getting revamped and we're getting our books published. We have all of that coding for confidence under our umbrella at eAssist. And then just understanding that claims processing and handling of rejections. What happens when, a claim comes back underpaid or not paid at all? So let's jump into those. This was a good stat. When we looked it up, this was at the beginning of the month. We wanted to know how many Americans have dental benefits. 77%, more and more, have dental benefits. And if we know how to integrate ourselves to know, right, the patients expect us to know when they come in for their treatment, what does my insurance pay? What is covered? What's not covered? And so having 77% of Americans have dental benefits now is sure on the rise. Let's say it that way. A few years ago, it was under 60%. So knowing this, we have to ensure that we also know how to have these insurance companies cover what's rightfully should be paid to those clinicians doing the work. One of the ways to prep on that, right, to know and be prepared for that visit with the patient is the preparation of the verification. And so when we're talking to the patients and they're calling in as a new patient, that we're asking them and gathering that accurate subscriber information. And sometimes that's a bit hard to do, but one of the tricks is to ask them where they're employed, right? Because many times maybe this isn't true for DSO, but DSO offices, but so especially for those that have private practices here on the call, you're owning that 10-mile radius. And many people are now working in that area. So you'll know if it's, you have your Boeing plan because your office is next to the Boeing division. So if you ask them what employer they work for, sometimes you can help them get and help you get that information, making sure that their names are spelled correctly. One of the things here that we used to do a long time ago is we would run different scenarios back and forth with our team in the office and say, if somebody comes in and says, yeah, they call me Bud, I'm Bud, but Bud's name is really John, right? We're going to want to make sure that we're asking, is that their name on their insurance? You wouldn't believe the number of times where you'll have somebody go by one name, but under insurance as another. And having that up to date and just ensuring that you're asking the question in a way that they're going to answer you back in the right way. Copy of the insurance card. These are hard to get. Not many insurance carriers publish the cards anymore. But what we're seeing more and more is they're giving them where they can sign in on the app at MetLife or Delta or Aetna. So they have their own card, just like for healthcare now. So we want to make sure that we get a copy, and sometimes they can send it to us or take a snapshot and send it to us. Like we said, we're not expecting them to know, they're expecting us to know. And we always want to make sure, is there anyone else that you could be covered under? Because what we find sometimes too is they're covered under a policy, children, most of the time. And then they go get their own job with dental insurance because now the age is 26. So they're out working in the world and they take that insurance in, but they are also covered under mom and dad. So it's really good to ensure that we're double checking that dual coverage. This really helps us. We find that if we're doing all of this, and we have that checklist, this is what we're doing in the front office. We have that checklist for each and every patient. Even before we get the breakdown, it reduces any errors and then leads to faster AR coming and being paid. So when we're verifying, we're going to want to confirm the plan effective dates. especially that dual coverage, and verifying coverage details. So most of you have, I'm sure, some sort of a breakdown of benefits information form. And we have a specialized one that goes out and kind of scrapes around and brings back the information. And then we have a human really, with those helping hands, ensure that that is correct. AI is coming a long way. We're all seeing it come, right? Or the ability to go out and get that 276, 277 and saying they're eligible, but really knowing what are they eligible for. Also, this is where a lot of clauses come into play with frequency and limitations and alternate benefits and downgrades. So if there is one way to ensure that the patients are happy with your service, if they have insurance and you have these details, or you have someone like eAssist come in and get them for you where it's very detailed, your staff can pull it up, whether it's your form that they're pulling up or our form that they're pulling up, and it's there and it's ready so that when you're doing your treatment plan, the treatment coordinator can come in and really do a good job of explaining, this is what you need and why you need it. And here's what your insurance covers. And here's what your out-of-pocket will be. How would you like to pay for that? And having that set up for them systematically is a game changer. To come in and say, we believe that your insurance is going to pay this. Thanks. We'll see. Is where a lot of offices kind of run fast of, oh, they're eligible. It's on this plan. Don't worry about if they've had it done before or not. We're running. And then it comes and it leads into some things where maybe you want to do a pre-authorization. Those treatment plans can get very large with some patients. Some patients want to know different options. Medical insurance should also be verified, right? With those oral surgeries or sometimes implant scenarios. And again, can't say it enough. If we don't have this verification this way, and we do a very good job at providing this to clients, but if you don't have this set up, it is the first step in having insurance denials and high AR. I can't tell you how many times clients will come to us and go, our over 9 days is just, and we open it up, and it's not over 90, it's over 180. And it's sitting there for some time. So lack of that verification leads to increased patient balances, which leads to dissatisfaction and then not coming back. So it is really that pinnacle of knowing what to ask and how to ask it. So I hope those tips help you. And I would ask you, coming back to this, what I would do is if you have an opportunity to go back and say, let's look at our patients for the last week who came in for treatment. Let's pull their insurance verification and let's see, did we do it? Nailing it. And that will really show you where you and your practice, right? They may need some attention and where you could help them or where we could come in and help them too with some coaching. So in the past 3 years, let's talk about these CDT codes, everyone. 160, right? Like we got CDT code happy. And this leads to a lot of missed charges, right? Where we're using some codes that maybe we shouldn't be because we don't know, hey, we've used this code for a long time and now I don't use it for that anymore. Or they changed the definition over here. So one of the things we wanted to just emphasize also was if you know that verification right, where you're using the wrong code when you do the treatment charging and charge outs, it's really going to be a hard time for you to get that claim corrected and the narrative back out and the x-rays and all of the back and forth with the carrier. So we have Practice Booster, and it's online now, which is fabulous. Um, and all of the different understanding and education, if you have that resource to help navigate that complexity and to know that we're here too. If you find like, I'm starting to do these types of cases, or I'm starting to see every time I build this code, something is happening where it's not processing the way that it would before, or they're asking me now, they've changed the rules on the requirements at this carrier. Do you know anything about it? We know those things, right? We're very in tune with the top carriers in the United States, PPO, and how they process the codings. So our billing team, when they see that charting and charge code come in and it's not matching, they're really good about saying, "Hey doc, want to just let you know, did you see this? I know you did this procedure. I see that the patient had it done at this time. So we just need some sort of a narrative." I'm making it up, right? And they say, "Do you want to take a look at this? And here's the book. Here's the coding with confidence," because it's ours. That we kind of come back and say, "Hey, here's what it's saying. How can we help?" Right? Because we want to get the claim paid for you. But you also having that, I'm sure many of you have fantastic office managers and admin staff at your front desk that knows this stuff inside and out. And to make sure that they have the most updated information really makes all the difference. Keep in mind that, again, incorrect coding leads to those denials, but avoid upcoding. We're seeing this quite a lot. We were at National Association of Dental Plans just a few months ago, and one of the things that they're seeing a rise on is upcoding, where we're unbundling and really just knowing kind of what CDT code you should be using at what time through certain procedures, what's inclusive and kind of bundled in certain codes. There are 16 CDT codes going into effect January 1st. And that Coding with Confidence 2024 edition is now available. The best part I find myself and found when working at practices the number of years that I did was really taking those codes and them telling, where they kind of break it down and say, this is where you would use it in treatment, and here's where you wouldn't. And I always found that here's where you wouldn't always helped me so much more than here's where you do. So let's talk about what happens if those verifications are done or our coding just isn't, we thought it was going to work and it didn't, or maybe we unbundled something and now they want to know more things. What we find when we've got, over a few thousand clients now, when we have that first meeting with our clients and we say, let's take a look, we're going to take a look at your agent, we're going to give you some feedback, we're going to see what's here, what kind of, how can we clean up the old and how we can get it clean going out the door. We find, and it's been said here too, that Dr. Blair research is almost 34%. It was like 33.8, I think, percent of all dental claims that are underpaid or not paid go unappealed. They're just sitting. And we find that, we're running into those timely filings to appeal and now we have to do adjustments. So just something to consider is anytime that something is underpaid or something is not paid, those should be kind of at the top of the list of who's following up on it, what did we say, who are we talking to, how many are there? You wouldn't believe the number when we start to go through those clients that come on with us, that we find that there's no notes. The payment was posted, the claim is still open and has a balance. And that balance wasn't moved to the patient or it wasn't appealed to the carrier. And now the timing is about to lapse. So if that's you, we're here to help. And if it's you and you want to try it first, one of the things that I've found very helpful is to go in and run an aging report and look at the oldest date of service. And that oldest date of service is usually those ones that are sitting there that went unappealed. And of course, timely submissions, right? We know that insurance carriers all have different timely filings. When you get into HMOs and some Medicaid plans, it's very, very short. But we find that the sooner you can approve and your narrative is there and the x-rays and the clinical notes, everything that we need, everything's nice and clean and it goes out the door. If you can do that within 48 hours or 2 business days, I should say, that is like the cleanest you can get. We also have heard at National Association of Dental Plans that they're looking for real-time adjudication, right? They want it to come in electronically today. And if it's something like a pro fee, they want to adjudicate it back today and it be done. And we're crossing fingers and hoping that they can push it that way for sure. Again, this drives up accounts receivable like you wouldn't believe, where we have claims sitting there because, the oral surgeon comes in once a month and he didn't write the narrative or she didn't write the narrative. And we need a narrative before we send it, right? So really making sure your end of day for those charting and charge out, that you have a really good plan around that. What does that look like? What is the process? And if you don't, we're here to help with that too. We've got some really good and fun ways to help get the team to, do the end of day stuff. Clean claims. One of the things that the ADA says is they get more claims where they need to have x-rays and narratives or perio charts or referrals, and that's why they're kicking them back, saying, hey, we don't have what we need. And it gets a little complex for us, right? If you're doing dental billing, right? If you're doing claim billing, each carrier has different set of rules to know. And we know them here because it's all we do all day long. So for certain areas, for certain local UFCWs and local, plans, that's one thing. But when you get into the PPOs, they can sure have they don't do it on this MetLife, but they do it over here on Aetna. And how about United Concordia? Okay? And everybody seems to have a little something different. So the most common reasons is that rating periods or frequencies and then the incorrect CDT code. So if you have all of that, those claims should be going out clean and your AR should really not be more than 120 days old. It really shouldn't. Again, I think I've said this, but billing staff may not recognize when to appeal, especially if you have someone new. And I've heard more and more that finding a good front office staff, not that's just friendly with patients, right? But really knows their stuff around dental billing is hard to come by these days. That's what I'm hearing. And we're here to solve that problem for you. So we know that stuff, and we're here to come alongside and be part of your team. Many of our dental billers are so close that they feel like an extended part of the front office staff for many, many of our practices. They're included in certain fun games that they play and certain, things that they're doing in the office where that dental biller is saying, hey, you did all the treatment, all the charting and charges is out the door. And now I'm going to take it from here. So have, your front office staff, let's just call her Sally. Now she's able to make those calls to the patient. She's able to answer the phone. She's able to make sure that your schedule is full. And And they're able to really, when that patient walks in the door, talk about the treatment that's needed and get them scheduled for it. While in the background, we do know all of the rules and all the regulations and who does what here and how to appeal these. So there's a couple of different ways. Of course, there's some consulting we can help with. We have a consulting network that can come out and help, but really doing this billing part seems for our clients to be like that heavy lift that just makes everything work really nice. A priority and attention on those outstanding balances. We talked at that 90-day mark so that they don't hit 120. And go get what's rightfully yours. There's nothing worse than seeing it sit there and think, oh gosh, these insurance companies have this money and this doctor spent this time and energy and rendered that service and is not being paid for it. And has the staff and the overhead and they're not being paid for it, right? So it's yours. We want you to have it. Again, this is our full suite of revenue cycle services. I hope I can lift you with a little tidbit of something that's super helpful. We're here to do the dental insurance billing. Our goal is submit your clean claims every day, post all of your EUBs every day, and do everything in our power to get your over 90s to zero. And we're super successful. Because we know those ins and outs, that 90 days insurance account balances near zero. Like, we're really good at it. Again, here's what we're saying. We're going to get you we're going to collect 100% of what's rightfully owed to you. Submit your clean claims, post your payment. We follow up on the claims every 10 days. And we get the insurance to near zero, the over 90s near zero, and we keep it there. And we give you a daily report on your production and collections, your collection ratio, your outstanding claims, insurance receivable, patient receivable, and much more. So this is how we kind of communicate back and forth. It's a really beautiful report. It's what a lot of consultants will come in and tell you. If you have this report daily with your daily huddle, it sure makes a difference. Practice Booster, we talked about that. They have Code Advisor now at no additional cost to Henry Schein clients. So that's where really that Code Advisor, like, hey, I really think I should be charging out this code, but should I be? This Code Advisor is there to really help navigate you through that. And insurance verification, we do it all day, every day. Like I said, we have some AI that goes out and does its thing, but we have the human helping hand that no other company out there really has onshore. You can go offshore for sure and get that. But we know these insurance carriers, we're onshore, they take our calls, and we're really successful at getting these breakdowns that are like fantastic. We do data entry. We can put it into your system, into your software, and we also can just put it on your form if that's what you choose. And so we deliver peace of mind, and I'd love to hear any questions that you all have. I think, actually, here's a poll. Would you like to have someone from our team reach out to you and schedule a consult? We'd really love to talk to you and just talk through maybe what concerns you have and see if there's a way for us to help fix them. And if you do, I don't know if, I'll kind of hand it back here a little bit. I'm not sure how we do this poll.
That's great. We could put your information in the chat box. Yeah, great. And we can put that in there, and so that everyone on the call this evening on the webinar this evening can take your email and reach out to you.
Great. That works.
Thank you so much for that wonderful presentation. I wanted to ask you, Amy, if there are any frequently asked questions that you get that we could review with our viewers tonight.
Yeah. Cost. right? Everybody goes, yeah, that's great, but what's the cost? It's all on our website because each and everybody's different, but it's based on the insurance collections, and we take a percent of that insurance collections dependent on what tier you fall into. And so DSOs do this all day, right? Where there's a percentage that you pay in to be in the DSO, or DSOs will take part of what they're taking from all the offices and paid out to us. But private practices, it works the very same way. And you have your full autonomy to do and ask us how you want things done. So it's a percentage. That's the number one question.
That makes sense. And I did want to give you a chance that this is the QR code that our viewers can scan tonight to learn more, to schedule a complimentary consultation. And I do see your email there, business solutions team at, oh no, that's ours actually, sorry, at tenacious.com. But we'd love to get your email as well, wherever folks can reach out to you.
I will drop it here in the chat. And I'll be sure to put it on the slides. I thought it was there. Sorry about that.
Oh no, that's totally okay. I would love to invite anyone who'd like to ask any questions tonight to go ahead and enter your questions into the Q&A chat box while Amy sends her email over. Oh, I see there the email. I'm going to go ahead and drop it for everyone here in the chat box.
Thank you.
Here we go. And that's amy.spaulding at eassist.com, amy.spaulding at eassist, eassist.com. Amy, I want to thank you again for a wonderful presentation this evening, and I want to thank everyone for joining us tonight.